Well, welcome to Great Man TV, based upon the book, Michelle, Great Man, Where Art Thou? The Silent Cry of a Woman's Heart. I am your host of this show, Dee Collins. I am the author of the book, and this is our debut, Michelle. And I'm so excited.
I am. Welcome.
If y'all don't know Michelle, let me tell y'all a little bit something about my Shell. That's what I'm gonna call you, Shell. My Shell.
That's cool.
Friend, partner in crime and business, coaching. I've been her coach for I don't know how long. She's implemented. She's a great student of the learner, being of the word. Just a friend, Michelle. And I thank you all. People got to know who you are, honey.
Yeah, they do. I ain't gonna lie, they do. And I am so grateful to be here on Great Man TV. This is actually a dream come true.
Uh-huh.
You know, I had came to you to be coached because of a man. Now I'm able to be on the television show esteeming men because of the way in which I have been healed from certain areas. Not 100%, but I am so grateful to be here. And this is a dream because I do love our great men. And it is an honor to be able to talk about their greatness, but also learn from them too. I love hearing from men.
Yes.
Men that got some sense and make sense.
And you know what? All of them have a great mind, mind. And that's why good is just no longer good enough. You know, we are good people. We serve a good God, and we have gotten the good out of all the good that we can get, Michelle. However, you have been damaged, when you have been going through, when you are great, you go through great attacks. And that's what I want people to know. I know me. I have went through some great attacks, not just recently, but all my life. Which is why I coach, which is why I'm facilitating emotional healing clinics. That's a whole nother show. But I have discovered that the greater your issues, the greater you are.
Yes.
Greatness that's on the inside of us. And that's why it comes to deceive us because of who we are. And it starts with our men. It starts with our men, Michelle. Just like I put in the book, it begins with daddy.
Yes. And honestly, I watched you transition. Speaking of that book, I watched you transition in a relationship that actually inspired a lot of that book. And from one to the next. And I think it's been healing for me to be able to have edited and be able to have done interviews and really hear the hearts of not only yourself, but the people within the book. And it does begin with daddy. It took me to be 40 years old to remember most of the things that I have gone through with men in relationships is because of my father.
And you know what? We fail to realize that our father, our daddy, is a man. Now, he wasn't my man. You know what I mean? He didn't have intercourse with myself. But how did I get here? You know, I got here through the man connecting with a woman who was my mother, and it produced a great child like myself. However, because of the dysfunction, because of the own issues in life and relationships, I became a byproduct of their damages. I became a byproduct, and I could speak probably for everyone, but only I can take ownership. But even those things that I became a byproduct of, not just of the good, but of the damages, I still had to learn that's where my greatness is. That's what my greatness lies. It's not at all what I do well. It's not all what they did well. It's not all what they did right. But Michelle, where would I be if it wasn't for the things that I had to learn without my father? Because I tell you one thing, it put some grit in my craw. I got some grit, honey.
Yeah, you do. And honestly, I have to say the same thing. At least you got a chance to meet your father. I did not get a chance to meet him. Don't know him. Don't even know how he looks. You know, I always make this joke. I pray to God I never did him because I don't even know who he is.
You know, I challenge you on that in your coaching session.
I know.
Girl, I hope you ain't slept with your dad.
No, and that really messed me up. But I said, just the fact that he wasn't there, because I found out some things about him later on that were not very good. You know, abusive, verbally, all this other stuff, physically. And so I was like, I kind of, when I was little, I'm like, man, I'm glad he's not here. God knows what I would have turned out to be had he been in my life abusing me too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not right. We shouldn't have fathers, but I'm saying in my case, I think it turned out better than it would have.
And what I'm also saying, though, what we're saying, Michelle, is that everybody has their course. Everybody has their journey. You know, whether he was in your mess, whether was he not, it still contributed to your journey. Some people have had their daddy in their midst, and they was just there in the body form. They was not there emotionally. They was there in the financial form. You see what I'm saying? But regardless of what form or fashion they were or were not there, we all have issues. But the reason why we got this show is because our men need to be heard. We need our men. We don't need just your penis. We just don't need your money. We need your mind. We need your thoughts. We need your heart. We need your cultivation. Oh my God.
And historically, our men have not been able to give that to us because of the damages that and everybody said, oh, you can't blame slavery, but the damages that we've had when we were captive, enslaved, a lot of the victimizations is still permeating and is still very active today. Yes. So this show and what we're doing to get men's voices to be heard, that is key. It's time is over. Our men are too brilliant. Our men are too powerful for the voices not to be heard. And we have really forgotten about how powerful the minds are, because you look at media, you look at how they've been portrayed, you look at even how we're teaching young women and young men how to view men and manhood, especially Black men. And it's like, it's detrimental. This show is to bring out the real truth about who our men really are, because historically they have been disenfranchised, not listened to, disrespected, and it stops here. It stops right here every Saturday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time on Great Man TV, for real.
I'm just saying, Michelle, I'm just saying, out of all the hell, the rejection, the abandonment, the betrayal, the cheating, the love that I gave, the things that I need from the men in my life, not just an intimate standpoint, I have learned I need my brothers. I need their mind. And out of all that I've been through and who I am now, good is just not good enough. I need the greatness. I need the great mind. I need the great heart. I need the great guidance. I need them. I have experienced greatness through my brothers that I have been knowing all my life. They're older and one is younger. And I have understood now the necessity. God did just put brothers in my life to say, oh, you got a brother. You know what I'm saying? What is the purpose for every man in your life?
If it wasn't for my brothers, if it wasn't for my uncles, if it wasn't for my cousins, if it wasn't for my male friends, so key in my life. Yes. It didn't even matter to me that daddy wasn't there. I had uncles who had my back. My older brother was 9 years older to me, love him to death, had my back. You know what I'm saying? And they showed me love. None of them touched me. None of them disrespected me. Yes. All I saw was the power and the strength of men. That's how I grew up. And I grew up in a rough neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. And I didn't even realize until I started listening to TV and radio that I lived in a rough neighborhood, because we were protected. The men watched us come home from school. The men it wasn't very many, but whoever was there, they sat on the stoop. They made sure we was good.
Most definitely.
They did their things. They made sure that we were taken care of.
That's right. And that's why we need them. We need them. And I want to raise the voice of men. I want to hear their minds. I want to hear their hearts. It's more than just about being intimate with them. I am intimate when I understand their mind on all levels. Intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is being able for you to hear me and I need to hear you. They serve as our protectors, as our emotional protectors. You know what I'm saying? I need to be emotionally protected. I need to be educated. I need to, my brother to tell me, you know what? One of he wasn't even my real brother. He's a brother, you know, from being, he said, I could have told you that nigga was full of SH. You know what I'm saying? He said, and I'm telling you now, let it go. He full of crap. You know what I'm saying? So I needed to hear that. Did I feel good about that? No. But however, he was protecting me.
Yes.
He was protecting me because a man know a man, game no game. And when you have played games, you can recognize game. Just like I could tell a woman, a man about a woman. I could tell when she's manipulative. I could tell, and I know when she's real, and I know when she's fake. You know what I'm saying? But if they would hear, because men are visual, and I'm so tired, Michelle, from a coaching perspective, what I really am tired of, from a pastoral perspective, I'm tired of our men being abused emotionally because women are taking their hearts and they're dangling their children in front of them. They're bringing them to a place, because when men love just like we do, and they have a pure heart. They have a great heart. You know what I'm saying? But when a woman don't know how to regard that, her manipulative ways, and they're caught up because they got visual, and they saw the body, and they saw the image, and they saw all the things that they had that could make them feel good. And you know, once they get in between them legs, girl, it's a whole other thing. Let the pee power. It's power in the pee, baby. In both ways, it's power in the pee.
And that's what we get tripped up. But you know what? Like you said, we speak to men all the time and give them truth. How many women really need that brother, that friend, to speak truth to them? Do you know how more powerful our relationships will be? Yes. If we had that person who didn't want anything from us, but was able to speak truth to us. That's what I want us to do here.
That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do. And we're going to deal with the real issues. Yeah. And when I say real issues, I'm talking about, we're going to talk about the depression. I want men to come on here who's going to educate us why they get depressed, why they need sex. You know what I'm saying? Why they cheat. What's the ones that don't cheat? Why they can stay faithful, how they stay faithful, what they need in a woman, how to be. They need to teach us how to love them. We just don't know how to love them.
How to love, how to respect. You know, men generally need respect. We up there talking about, I love you, I love you, I love you. They need respect.
They're required.
The biggest issues that we have.
Yes.
So we need a man to come on here and say, this is why we need respect, and this is what respect looks like. And women, we need to hear. And then women, we can say, this ain't all about that. I need love. This is how you love me. You know?
Yes. And why they require that. And I believe once we do that, the ultimate goal, you all, is to mend life and relationships, to heal the broken heart, to proclaim liberty to them that are bound, to set captives free, and to at least contribute to relationships remaining, growing, thriving, prospering, and not just saying, I'm living with this man to be living with him. So many women have coaches said, I'm married, but I'm lonely. They don't want to talk about it because of the shame. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't got to be shameful. I'm going to talk about it because I know what it is to be married, but still lonely. But I also know what it is, Michelle, to have been free within myself, because it really wasn't the man that caused me to be lonely. It was, I was bound within myself, because nobody can contribute to my happiness and my freedom or my love until I learn how to love myself first.
Yes.
It's self-love. It's self-love. So I am excited. I'm excited about
too. I am too. And tell us a little bit about you. You know, you say you're D. Collins. How did you even get here?
Oh, Michelle. Oh, you know what? Now this is what I really love. I love old men. Okay. Even from my, it began with my daddy, and beginning with my daddy, not having him around for the wrong reasons. I used to end up in the arms of older men, just looking for the love, looking for the father. But once I became aware of that and I began to move out of that, and my life began to shift, I had to learn that even wisdom was in them. Wisdom. And they were teaching me. And one man said, he said to me, he said, honey, I'm not new here. I grew here. So they sat down and they gave me some fat. They gave me some wisdom. You know what I mean? And so how I got here, Michelle, is because I have been hearing the hearts of men for a child welfare agency. I was with my former business partner even today, and we were reminiscing and talking about how we used to get these young men out of prison, how we used to bring them into our custody. I had group homes all over the city of Chicago, in the state of Illinois, and I've had over 6,000 young men literally over the decade come into my custody. not just servicing them. Coming in, I had a team, I had a staff, and I had therapeutic services. I had all kind of services to bring them to a place of self-sufficiency. Well, I did that so passionately, Michelle, because I know any and every human being is going to grow up. A 13-year-old is going to end up being a 30-year-old. And although I still have daughters. At that time, I had young daughters, but it was somebody in my ear. You know what I'm saying? And these young men in our society, what if they had have gotten into my daughter's ear if they were still broken?
Yes.
It's all that I was contributing into their lives. All it takes is one whisper. All it takes is one, hey, baby, hey, baby. And they could wipe out all the training and all the things that I've done. And I would be fighting for their lives and be stressed out like a lot of mothers are. So how I got started is because this has been my life, Michelle. And not only that, but in my own life and relationships, giving, loving, understanding the order, understanding the kingdom order. If I don't believe in anything else, I believe in our men being our covering. Michelle, I believe that we need them because God brought us out of them. I need to pray for them like never before. I believe that women need to come into a place that every man in their life, beginning with their daddy, we need to pray because that's been my life. And so now here I am. And that's how the book came about because I just brought it all together, Michelle, even exactly. And so this is who I am. This is who I am. And my mother raised me. My mother raised me to respect men. My mother raised me. My mother raised me. I'm a woman, but if there's nothing else that I know that I could serve in any capacity with greatness, with compassion, with love, with order, with respect, and that's being a wife, and I am a mother. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't even be a mother if I hadn't slept with a man. So I want us to be healed. I want us to be whole. I want my pain to be my power. You got to be touched with the feelings of people's infirmities in order to be able to produce greatness. You know, being able to produce greatness. So
that's awesome.
Yes. So did that answer your question? How I got here?
Answer my question. And I you alluded to, you were my coach. You still are my coach. And I got to you through, we always say, we always come to healing through man. I was divorced, still am divorced, single mom, whatever. And came through emotional healing, something that you used to do for women and men and families. Came through emotional healing, have not left then. And I was a school teacher. And one of the things in my classroom, most of my young guys, I had about 7 guys who were, now they weren't thousands like you, I had about 7. But they
may have felt like 1,000.
It was 1,000 in their mind. But those young men were so powerful, but they labeled them as, whatever we label our young men in society, ADHD, problem, whatever. Those 7 young men, I looked at them, I looped and I kept them for 2 years. But those 7 young men, I looked at them and I said, you know what? When you could turn 16, I don't even know what this world is going to have for you.
Almost definitely.
So I said, let me leave now to prepare a way for you because you're too powerful and too brilliant. So my why I'm here today is for those young men just like them who, as they get older, they have someone to cultivate them. Not me, but healed women and men who are built up to take our families back.
Yes.
Restore our communities. And I believe in my heart, it begins with the man because that's order, but it begins with us communication. And yes, James, pain to be my power. That's it. We take our pain, and in that pain is our power, for sure, for sure.
And although this platform, and I want everyone to hear me, and I want everyone to know, not just from the host of the show, but as the author, as the coach, as the leader, as anything that I ever serve in the capacity, because it's all one and the same, that this is not just limited to men. Men, we need to hear your voice. We need to hear your heart. Yes. And I want men to connect with us because I want to have you on this show. I don't need the celebrities. I need the man who is great. Just because you may be a multimillionaire and you may be doing all these things, it doesn't constitute your greatness. Just because you make 6 figures, it don't mean you're great. But when you've been able to educate, when you're able to talk, when you're able to bring back and give back to a community, not just out of your pocket, but out of your mind, out of your heart, I want you to be on this show, and I want them to be able to contact me, Michelle, contact me in the Great Man group. You know what I'm saying? And I want them to be able to do that because I don't want them to follow us right here on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Follow us on Facebook. Great Man, Where Art Thou? And I know you're already on here, but share it with your friends. But also too, it's for women too. I want women who believe in our men. Come join me. Women who saying, I need the men in my lives. It's not just my lover. It's not just my husband. What about all of the mothers who are raising sons that are going to grow up to be men? You know what I'm saying? They're young men now, but we need to be replenished, and we need to also pray for our sons, you know, that they don't get caught up with the wrong woman. They don't get caught up with someone who's going to misuse them, abuse them, take advantage of them, you know? So I want women to come together with me to join forces on a movement to say, I'm not just a good woman. Good just ain't good enough. I am a great woman. I'm raising my sons. I'm a great woman. I am bringing sacrifices. I'm a great woman. I believe in the power that our men have. That's a great woman. And, you know, great women stand in the midst of their adversities, Michelle. Good women abandon you. Oh my God, if you ain't got that money coming in and you ain't got it like they want it and you ain't out there doing, baby, see ya, wouldn't want to be you. But a great woman can hear your heart, hear your vision, hear your purpose. She could take nothing and before she turn it into. Come on now.
She could take that diamond that looks like a lump of coal, dirty, whatever, broken.
Yes.
Whatever, refine it, and then it will be. Yes. And it's nothing like a great woman to be able to be there for you. And it's nothing like a great man to reciprocate. Yes. And that's what it's about.
Yes. And I want the women to proclaim, you know, good just ain't good enough. I am a great woman. I am a great woman. So that's why we're here, Michelle. And that's what we're going to do because we want to bring them together. I believe we can hear one another. I've been, you know, doing this from a coaching perspective for almost 30 years, if not a little bit over. And the most common denominator for us as a people is our communication is off because our emotions are damaged. And when our emotions are damaged, we end up losing the communication where it's effective. Our words are misunderstood because it's hitting our triggers. It's hitting deeper places in our soul that we cannot even process what they're saying from a holistic standpoint because it hit our pain point. It hit our triggers. So that's why the divorce rate is increasing. That's why the arguments are definitely there. That's why we're living together, but there's no camaraderie. Beautiful homes, 6 bedrooms, 8 bedrooms, 50 bathrooms. But if you go in there, the home is cold as ice. And when we didn't, and you can talk about this from a historical perspective, Michelle, when we didn't have nothing as a man and a woman living together.
You know what we had? We had a fight because we had to fight. We had a grit about us because we had to have it. We had everything. All we had was what was on the inside of us because everything external was against us and it was damaging. But we had one another. Spirit to spirit, we had one another.
Yes.
They couldn't take away. Nobody could take away that which was already on the inside of us. And that's that power we always talk about. Historically, they tried to beat it through our bodies, to diminish our souls and our emotions. But we stuck together because that's how we are made. That's in our DNA.
Yes.
We have forgotten that part about us, but it's still there. And it was man and woman. It was man, woman, and family. It was man, woman, and child. And everybody knew within that circle, we have to depend on one another because we out here in this world, everybody's against us.
And whatever.
Go ahead.
And whatever he was going through, going out there and outside that house, this is a dog-eat-dog world. And this system of this world is not designed for our men, particularly our Black men, to prosper. We're going to speak truth on here. You see what I'm saying? And we as women, it look good, but this stuff ain't altogether lovely, Michelle. We got a lot of masks. We got a lot of imagery. We got a lot of stuff, materialistic gain that we are covering our mess up. We're covering it up, Michelle. And deep down within, you know, we're still hurting, and our men are hurting, particularly our Black men, and society still want to destroy them. Victimization, prejudice, Ku Klux Klan, that stuff ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? No. But they're fighting out there every day. Great men fighting for their family. Great men want to raise their kids. great men who love their children. No man is a dog. I don't believe no man is a dog. You know what I'm saying? We all got issues, but their heart, they got a heart, and all they need is somebody to have their back. Yes. Do we need something as well, women? Yes, we do. We need to be appreciated. We need to be adored. We need to be attended to, but we got to do that for one another. We got to do that for one another. So I'm going to address a lot of stuff, Michelle, in here that is going to bring holistic change.
Yes.
All I could do is do my part. Holistic change. So what's one of the things that are happening, Michelle, that you know about in our society now? We're talking about the things that's happening. We see it all over the media. We see it all over the news. What's one of the pressing things? Because we got a great man who's going to be a guest, and he's going to be coming in about 5 minutes. So I want to talk about one of the things that even grip your heart that's happening.
You know, one thing that's really hurting me right now is there's like this I wouldn't call it competition, but there's this beef going on between two powerful men. One is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I can't think of the other gentleman's name, but it's like people are taking sides. Both of these men have extreme knowledge of manhood, history. They have extreme knowledge of solutions and different things of that nature, but because there may be some fundamental views that are different or whatever, they're being pit against one another, and they're actually buying into it. And that right there has really been kind of hurting me, because there is room for everybody to have a different opinion. But you got two powerful men who have the ear of our young people, who have the ear of people, and now they are divided. It's the same thing they've always done it between Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, you name it in history. They've always pit powerful men against one another. And for whatever reason, these men are going along with this divisiveness. I want to see some resolution. And that's what's really, really kind of messing me up right now, is that which is going on. Because we don't need it. Now is the time, because, you know, I know everybody heard about Trump and him making, this comment about Haiti and other African countries, calling them, whatever he said, derogative. We are under attack, bottom line. Our character, who we are, and for people who have knowledge, the way that these two men have knowledge to free the minds of their people, it's disheartening.
Yeah. And we need to be free. I was with a coaching client, and she was a young lady. She's a millennial. And she was just sharing in her session with me about, a friend of hers, and he's a man, naturally, that they've been friends and building upon a relationship, but the friendship is solid, you know what I mean? And it's becoming more solid. But she was saying how he was dealing with so much grief at a young age. And he was even, I want to use the lack of better terms, crying out to her, not literally from a ooh boo hoo standpoint, but being vulnerable and being transparent with her, because they were friends, to reveal his heart, how he was hurting, and the grief of what he is experiencing, not just from a loss of a loved one, but the grief of him not being able to continuously heal, and some of the things from what he experienced in a previous relationship of a woman crushing his heart. And she was getting coach of how do she deal with this, because, she don't even know what to say to him. She don't even know, but it was also gripping her heart, and I was sharing with her that this is an epidemic, seemingly, that our men their hearts are being crushed from their past relationships. And when a man closes his heart off, you know what I mean? He can be with you in body. He can be with you, physically, and he can lay with you, and he can get a release, and he can make it good, because hell, you don't need your heart for that. You know what I'm saying? Right. But, he still don't have a place where he's making himself emotionally available, So she has a golden opportunity, as I was coaching her, of how to, just be his friend. Just be his friend. And what grips my heart is that we as women just don't know how to be their friend. You know what I mean? Just be their friend. We want something from them. But we just need to be the woman that we are. Be the friend. Have no expectations. You know what I'm saying? Just be just be who you are and allow God to utilize your being. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We become human doings, and we don't really know who we are as human beings. You know, and so it's not just with them, but how do we as women learn how to be the woman that we are, learn how to be in their midst and not have to try to do anything. See, those type of things are not in media, but now it's here in media because I'm talking about it.
And that's what I want to uncover. How do we, and I want to hear from the great man, how do we just be? You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you, I have, because of what I had experienced as far as lack and different things with job and loss of income, I was looking for a sugar daddy. I ain't gonna lie. I was pressing things. I was doing stuff that was.
Did you find the sugar in the daddy?
No, I found a diabetic uncle. I ain't find no sugar daddy. Lord knows I was out there bad.
I was a diabetical uncle, not a sugar daddy.
But you know what? I want to hear from a man. You know, how do we just be? And it's all God. It's in us too. And that's why we say the conversation is about women too, because as a coach, I know you can bring that out. How do we just be as women?
Yeah.
Because you've gone through a lot within your span of relationships, and so have I. And we just don't speak on it. It's about being real.
It's about being real. It's about being real, you know. So we're going to be real. That is power in the B. B-E is power in the B. And if you really pay attention to that, you know what I'm saying, you will find it in beauty, in being, you know what I'm saying? You will find that. Just know how to be who you are. And I believe if we, and you know, we got, you know, Robert Jackson, you know, Robert, check your email so you can come on and join us. But we got James on the line here, and he's putting his comments up there. And I don't even know who other man is watching. But for right now, you know, if you all just really agree with, you all want a woman to learn how to be even more of who she is, you know, say confirm, let us know, hey, you know what, you are, yeah, you know, because this is why we need to learn what we need to be able to be who we are, for what and who God created us to not only be, but for us to create, to be able to do, you know. So it's very, very exciting about it, you know, about what's going on, you know. Oh God, can you send Robert the link again? I had sent that to him, and he said he didn't get it. So we're gonna keep on going, Michelle.
Robert, stay tuned. We ain't gonna have no technical difficulties. We're gonna make this happen.
We're gonna make it happen, and he is definitely a great man, and he has been got some great things. One thing I love about Robert, the reason why I asked him to even be with us, and I want to tell his story. I can't tell the story like him. Can't tell nobody's story but my own. But when he said, Michelle, that he was, you know, there to really be a protector to his daughter. Wow. You know what I mean? And she's not a young minor, you know what I'm saying? She's a daughter, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, really, you know, that was profound. I'm gonna put up here what James just said, you know, because I think this, look what he said. He said, let go of the idea of how things were generations ago. Gone are the days when a Black man can financially carry a household. You know, James, what do you mean by that? I wish you was.
What do you mean by that?
You know, it takes two incomes. Oh, okay. He was saying it takes two incomes, especially in California. So, and it takes probably take four incomes. It takes
about 4 or 5 incomes if you really want to know. The kids, you know, working.
But how do we work together? How do we work together as man and woman? How do we work together? How do we be that support to you all men? How do we be that emotional support? How do we be that encourager? How do we be that edifier? You know, how do we exhort you? You know, how do we speak into your life? You know, oftentimes we don't know what to say. Oftentimes our words are misconstrued because we're dealing with insecurities. We're dealing with past relationship issues, you know, so we don't even know how to esteem you all as well. And so we want to know those things, because it's not just about the money. It takes 5 or 6 incomes and strategies and a plan and working together. As I always say, teamwork makes the dream work, So I respect your comment, James. Thank you so very much. But we need to know more, So James, be careful, because I'm going to reach out to you. I had you over here on the show. You know what I'm saying? I have him right here on the show, Michelle. I have him on the show. So if you all are watching, I want you all to get the copy of the book. I want you to, not because, I'm just going to come in here and sell you the book, because I'm not a salesperson, but reality is it's some nuggets in there that I want you all to know, have, and read, because great man, what art thou? There's a tagline. It's the silent cry of a woman's heart. And I firmly believe that the deepest places in our heart and in our soul and in our mind are the places where our greatness lies. And it's those silent cries that needs to be heard. I'm reminded, Michelle, and I want to talk from a spiritual perspective, because that's what I do, and I want you to elaborate, from a spiritual perspective, a historical perspective, because that's what you do, But when I talk about the silent cry of a woman's heart, I'm reminded in Exodus when Moses was chosen to go and free and deliver his people. And naturally, I'm going to paraphrase what the story is about. But he was actually, when God spoke to him through the bush and all that stuff, and he began to bring up his issues, stutter, and I don't have this going and I don't have that going. And it angered God that he was focusing on his issues when that wasn't the issue. You know what I'm saying? The issue was that I needed you because I have heard the cry of my people. Mm-hmm. They were being brutalized. They were being victimized. They were under the hand of Pharaoh, and the labor was becoming more intense. He was like, I don't need your bickering. I don't need you looking at your inadequacies. I don't need your complaining. I don't need you looking at what you don't have. I need you to move. Because I got a plan. And if I don't use you, I need you to go back to where you came from. Mm-hmm. That's why I put you in that positions, because there's a cry that I knew that my people were going to need healing and deliverance. They're going to need deliverance. Mm-hmm. And that's what I hear when I said the silent cry of a woman's heart, because we are out there on the front line and we are doing so much. I'm going to speak for myself. Mm-hmm. Raising my kids by myself, bringing home the bacon, the butter, the bread, cooking it, you know what I'm saying? Doing all of that, having everything. I did it. You know what I'm saying? But from a historical perspective, I was taught, you're a strong Black woman. The more you put on your back, the better you are. Be strong. Take honor in that. Damn it, I was dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not what we were made to do.
No,
I
did. You know what I'm saying? But dang, you know what I mean? I was tired, literally. You know what I mean? And so you wonder why we don't have the energy that we have. We wonder why we don't have the vitality in our souls and our minds to be able to be what we need to be, because we're doing more than what is required of us. Talk about that from a historical perspective.
The whole goal of the enemy was to emasculate our men and make us dominant. Mm-hmm. And so through labor and through whatever else we went through, it was for us to be laborious. It was for us to have the same strength as they were. And it was for them to be weakened and for us to take the role of the leader and control. That has been happening since day one. And it looks so different. It may have looked, like, we worked in the fields or whatever. So now, you have women, like James just mentioned, you have women systematically earning more than men. You have men not being able to find the same type of jobs and different things of that nature as women. And then you have more push systematically for women to excel than men, because the whole goal is to diminish the mind of the man. Mm-hmm. The man's mind is beyond powerful. And if we can diminish that mind and make the woman think that she's better than, or she can do all of these things by herself, what that does, it makes it look like it's gravy. It weakens us. It depletes us. Mm-hmm. So we're not even good for ourselves. And then we're blaming the man whom wasn't given the opportunities that we have been given, in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yes, most definitely.
And so now that pits us against one another.
Yes.
And so now we have all of these incentives not to be and not to work together. And that has just been how it has been from day one. But through this communication, through setting order, through seeing one another for who we really are and respecting one another and really honoring the roles of who we are. We were never meant to be going to get the bread, baking it, or whatever. Now, does a woman have an entrepreneurial mind? Yes. Is a woman brilliant? Yes. Yeah. Can a woman do things? Yes. Oh, yeah. But typically, the most successful women and men are the ones who work together and have one another in the households with having one another's back.
Most definitely.
Can a single person be successful? Most definitely. Is that order? That's the question.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of things that that you really I believe, and I'm not in the health medical field, and I don't have any research, but I just believe all this that we are doing as women, it's bringing and breeding a whole lot of health issues. You know what I'm saying? Taking the onus that I got this. You know what I'm saying? We've done a lot, but we still had our men that were there, and even when we saw them being brutalized and all those things, we still had a respect for them. And that goes back to the respect, but they wanted us to lose that so we can emasculate them with our own mouth. We can emasculate with our own fragrance. We can emasculate and make them our servants. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother show, Michelle. That's a whole nother show. So that's a whole nother show. So I want you all to, make note of all these things. And I want everybody to make note of it, that we're going to be talking about how to rebuild our homes. You know what I'm saying? How to, even James put a post up here, is that our sisters out-earn brothers. You know what I'm saying? And we lost a lot of our brothers in his generation to the crack era. These are things that we want to talk about, not just to be talking about it, but how do we mend? How do we bring back, to life? And the only way we can do that is through education, through empowerment, through knowledge, through understanding from a spiritual perspective, a historical perspective, and speaking the truth. The truth shall make you free, Michelle. And as I teach in a lot of my spiritual kingdom teachings, is that truth means stop concealing this stuff. You know what I mean? And we as a people, we conceal so much. And it's hindering our prosperity.
Killing us.
Calling us, yes, not to be free. We're in bondage. Our body is free from chains, but our mind still have the chains. And for them to come into our communities and we yield to the addictions of crack and all this other stuff, is still pain deep down within our soul. But the greatness is still there, Michelle. Greatness is.
And it's going to be ignited.
It's going to be ignited. It's going to be ignited. So I want you all to tell someone, wherever you are, go to your page, tell them to join the Great Man Where Art Thou group. Mark your calendar, because this is just the foundation. This is what we're laying. This is we telling you what we're doing, why we're doing it. We're going to have things on YouTube. I want to invite any man who got I was about to say the balls, Michelle.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Who got the ability, the strength, the boldness, the mind, the to speak and to educate and to be with us right here on this group, and even follow us, you all. Great Man TV. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us, Great Man TV, on Instagram. I don't have to know you, but you reach out to me. Dunamis D on my Facebook page. Great Man Where Art Thou. Follow us on Great Man TV. Contact me, because your voice needs to be heard. And how you need to come on and be with us. So, Michelle, we're going to wrap it up for today. You got anything you want to say? The final remarks?
You know what? Once again, this is groundbreaking. And I want everyone to share. I want everyone to be able to talk to someone about this show. We are looking for people to give, like James. Thank you.
Yes.
Because this is important. This is a live broadcast. This is what we want for you to do. Be able to communicate. Let your voice be heard. Some people will be lobbied in as guests right here on the spot. All we have to do is send you a link. this is for you. This is not about us. We've laid the foundation. We've told you who we are. When we come on next time, it's about you.
Yes.
What do you want to hear? Put in the comment section. This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to talk about. This show is about you. Great men and great women. Robert Jackson was not able to get on, but I promise you.
Oh, next time.
Me and Robert going to get it together. Got my phone here. And me and Robert, next time, we got you. Robert is too powerful not for you to hear his voice.
That's right.
Robert, I hope you
one thing we don't do. One thing we don't do right here on Great Man TV, Great Man, what art thou? Great man, great man. We don't give up on you.
No.
Oh, we don't give up on you. I don't care what it look like. I don't care what you act like. I don't care what you can do. And I don't care what you cannot do. It ain't about all that. We right here, Michelle, don't give up on you. We're going to believe and we're going to press through with you. And we're going to work until we get it right. That's greatness. Greatness never gives up. It keep on going. You may act a damn fool if you want to, but we ain't going to give up on you. We're going to believe in you. You may leave us, Michelle, but we're going to still believe in you. You know how many men have left our lives, but we still believe in them? We still pray for them. We still pray for them. Oh, yeah. I don't need to be in your face. I just need to be in the presence of God praying for you. Why? Because I believe in you. I believe, and the more you act the fool, the more I'm gonna pray for you anyway. So
right.
We thank you all for joining us. I am D Collins. I am Dunamis D, and I want you to stay connected right here on Great Man TV. Thank you all for Instagram, for just clocking in, being with us. Share this with people. Come on in, women. We want you to be a guest too. Hit me up. Let's schedule it. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Let's take it to another level. Talk to you soon, and you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday, your evening. Don't do too much, though. All right. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right.
Talk to y'all next week.